Alright, I look fucking terrible. Alright. I love to cook, as you guys know, because I'm an absolute fat ass. Alright. So this is the knife. It's a Berwyn. It's a Berwyn 8-inch chef knife. It's really, really nice. Here, I'm gonna get you guys in a better position. Give me a moment. Does that work? Okay, let's. Perfect. Alright, here's a cutting board. Oh, the damn thing's here. I'll slide you guys down. So basically, this is an 8-inch chef knife. It's a really, really nice knife. Here, I'll grab it. Here it is. Very, very sharp. Very beautiful knife as well. It feels amazing. Like, it is one of the best knives I've ever had. We got some onion here. I don't cry when I cut onions for some reason. It's really weird. I don't know why. So what I'm making is I'm making some Alfredo. So I'm gonna work on this jalapeno real quick. Look at that. Did you just see that? None of my other knives cut like that. Here, let me grab one of my other knives. So this is one of my non-stick chef knives. I have to go back and forth a whole bunch. That's terrible. Absolute rubbish. I don't know if you can see the detail on that, but you can see it is not a good cut whatsoever. It's a really shitty knife. Here's another. We can actually test it out on the. This one's better on the onion. Here's another one. Same knife, just different color. This is the second best one besides this Berwyn. Alright. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut. It just sounds amazing as well. It feels amazing, has a nice weight. Cut this in half. I might get a piece of paper to try this on paper. Oh yeah, I gotta get the cores out of this jalapeno. Give me a little moment. I have to wash the seeds out because when I make food, my mom has to have some, and she has a condition where acidic and spicy foods can really mess her up. It can give her cancer. So here we are with this. Look at that. You see how thin that slice is? I can't get this precision on any other knife that I have. I'm still getting used to this knife. Look at these slices of jalapeno. Very nice and thin. What I'm making is an Alfredo. It depends on what pasta I have, but basically what I'm doing is kind of not really a relish, but you kind of could classify it a relish, because what I'm doing is I'm gonna mince these jalapenos and onions together. just an amazing knife. I've never had a knife this amazing. My stepdad bought this. Well, I call him my stepdad. It's simple to explain it like that. I might get a piece of paper after this to demonstrate this better. But I don't like just the ease on it. I'm barely putting any pressure on it. I mean, this is also a pretty heavy knife, I'm going to be honest. It's heavier than my other knives. Oof. I gotta be careful with this thing. I could easily fillet my fingers off. Alright. But look at that. I'm still getting used to... I'm not that good with knives, but I take a very deep passion in cooking. Because this is definitely going to be too big for Discord, I'm going to post this to YouTube as an unlisted. And then I'll send the link. But you can hear the heaviness of this knife while I'm cutting. Alright. Now it's time for me to start mincing. So what I do for mincing, you take your hand, kind of like a seesaw, and you go really fast as you can, which gives you nice small bits. I'm sorry for all the climbing, it's just, I don't have a lot of counter space, and this is really the only place I have to do it, which is on my stove. Look at all that minced jalapeno. Amazing. I really hope I don't touch my eyes, you know. I just love cooking. It's so amazing. I love it so much. I don't know how people don't know how to cook or just don't like cooking. It's calming. It's an art. One of my favorite forms of arts, like music. Another way I cut foods. This isn't, you're not supposed to do it with this kind of knife, but you do it with a cheaper knife. Just poo. I forgot what they're called, but just, if you have shitty knives and you just want to get the fucking job done and over with, this is the best way. I'm just doing this because I'm really hungry. I'm fat and hungry. Who would have guessed that? Let me see. I usually make my own Alfredo. People say, oh, the Alfredo it's cream. It's cream sauce. It depends. The oldest recipe of Alfredo that has been recorded was a really, really simple recipe. Butter and Parmesan and starch water. Literally all it is. That's all you need to make a nice and creamy Alfredo. Because, like, this, sure, it's good. I would only use this if I was working in a restaurant. Only. Because when you're doing your own, like, actual authentic Alfredo, you don't ever use cream. because that creaminess, that like milk, that dairy fattiness is going to be coming from that butter and that cheese. So, because creamy Alfredo sauce, it's literally just milk, if you think about it. It's basically just very, very thick milk. And I don't really like these cans of Alfredo because they go bad extremely quickly. You put them in the fridge, seal them up really tight, and it goes bad in like 2 days. So when you're using it, you have to use it entirely at the same time. I really don't care if my face is on the internet. You can see I really don't care about my clothes either. I actually put this on because I was going to cook. I usually cook without a shirt on, I'm going to be honest. Kind of nasty, but it's just my preference. It's more comfortable for me. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look at how minced that is. I'll give you guys a better close-up after this. But this is really coming together. Like basically, I love mincing. Mincing, it makes it so you can do seasonings, you can make your own relish, or, you know, if you're doing tacos or something. Because, you know, dicing is cool and whatsoever. But I prefer mincing. It really just depends on what you prefer. Sometimes I like mincing, sometimes I like dicing. I prefer like a large mince or a fine dice, which is what I've kind of got going on here. So like the vegetables that you want to have that flavor with, they break down but not break down too much. So you still have like that crunch every once in a while, or that texture that you would get from, you know, actually adding these things. And texture is one of the most important things that you can have in food. Texture is really important. And, you know, I'm somebody with autism, so I struggle with sensory, and one of the biggest struggles I've always had with food is texture. It was more so when I was younger, like really, really little, but over time I've gotten not really less picky, but just fine-tuned my taste and realized, hey, that's not so bad. Like, I used to only eat steak well done with ketchup, and I was like, holy shit, that's terrible. Like, even when I was little, I was like, why do people like steak? It's so bad. You know, and like everybody in my family would tell me, it's because you're eating it well done with ketchup. And I was like, oh, I wonder why. Tried a medium rare steak for the first time in my life. Oh my god, I had that shit at Outback. It was so amazing. If you disagree with me that Outback is not the greatest steakhouse, leave. Outback is the greatest steakhouse of all time. There's no convincing me otherwise. Their sides are amazing. You get that brown bread, that free complimentary brown bread. Pretty sure they serve Coke products as well, so, you know, I only drink diet pretty much. And most restaurants use cheap shit Pepsi. And store brands are rebottled Pepsi. And it sucks because the best store brand sodas that I've noticed so far, and like if you like Dr. Pepper or like Coke, is Summit at Aldi's and Check, which is Winn-Dixie. I used to live up north. I don't know if I remember right. I think Kroger's brand was pretty good. Does Kroger even have their own brand? I feel like the worst one has got to be Sam's Cola. Blech. The worst. Here's the mincing that I did. Very fine. I guess this was just supposed to be a short video showing the knife out, but it's now a cooking video, I guess. So I really love this bamboo cutting board. I try to keep meat on a plastic cutting board. I have like 4 cutting boards. I try to keep my meats on the plastic cutting board so like the juices and stuff don't sink into it, which, you know, can get it really nasty and filthy. And I do vegetables, greens on the bamboo one because they don't have as much as a negative effect on, look at this thing just glimmering. It doesn't have as much of a negative effect on, you know, it decreases the chance of you getting food poisoning from like something like salmonella, because like a lot of times that I've gotten food poisoning from places is because they use the same cutting boards for everything, which, you know, if you're working in a restaurant, that's an inevitability. You're going to be using the same cutting boards for everything. But if a place like a restaurant is using only bamboo cutting boards, red flag. Do not eat there. You're going to get food poisoning unless they're washing it like every minute, which they shouldn't be doing that because they'll cause the bamboo to rot. I actually got this cutting board at Aldi's, like $7 or something, I don't know. Shop at Aldi's. Same exact taste. It's, trust me, way better. Price-wise, and you actually know where the food's coming from usually. They try to locally source it to where that location is. So I live in Florida, so they try to get a lot of the stuff from Florida farms. So now I'm going to wash this. You can come with me here. Hopefully you don't fall into the sink. I'm going to wash this cutting board off. There's not much to wash. Just run it with some water. I'll do a full cleaning on it later. Oops, you almost fell over. No. Just, man, look at that. The thing is, I never cry when I cut onions, even if they're fresh, like fresh out of the ground, you know, fresh off the farm. Never cried when cutting them. Never. Even when I was a little kid. I've never, like, I've always liked cutting foods. Like, my family would have me cut onions just because I don't cry when I cut onions. I don't know why. Like, my eyes don't have a reaction to the chemical. Like, I don't, for some reason, have a reaction to the chemical that onions release. Which is really, really weird. Try these cherries. I just saw them in there. They're cocktail cherries. Okay, no, not opening. I was eating some in the middle of the night, and I thought I swallowed some pits, and I got scared, and I thought I was gonna die because, you know, cherry pits have cyanide in them. Well, not cyanide, but has a chemical in it that processes into cyanide. Can't forget the Parmesan for later. Cannot forget the Parmesan. I don't know, gang. No, we're gonna save that for another time. Oh, yeah, because it's hard to find sriracha right now. Find this. I found it in Walmart. It's called Sky Valley. If you love sriracha, it's non-GMO, plant-based, and it's gluten-free. So if you have allergies or you're trying to like watch what you're having, it's really good. It's really low in sugar. It's vegan. It's got 5 calories for 1 tablespoon, which is really good because a lot of other sauces are just loaded on sugar for no reason. When a lot of the sweetness, because cooking, you're going to add sugar, or sauces are already sweet, or what you're adding is sweet. So 1 gram of added sugar, that's really good. And this is also a really simple ingredient list. Water, jalapeno peppers, red jalapeno peppers, citric acid, cane sugar, which means it's real sugar, distilled vinegar, obvious, salt, dried garlic, spices, and Xanath gum. Okay, gums are not that good for you, but it's less than 2%. Less than 2% content, so we're good, gang. Give me a moment while I fill up this pot. One thing I'm going to teach you about pasta. Never break the pasta. Never. Because I swear if I do not even have pasta. I want honey. We got some honey. Is that Worcestershire sauce? It's ooh. Okay. Okay, Spice Cabinet, you're good. Get back in there. Please tell me I have. Where's the... If you know, you know. I'm not going to say where I got this or how I got this. Just if you know, you know. Just, if you know, you know. That keeps this out. Should I make espresso? I honestly might mix myself espresso. Do I have any cream or... No, I do not. I would have liked to make some espresso. I love espresso. I love coffee. Couldn't tell. So a tip about pasta is I forgot about it. There's like something. I think it's like thickness of your thumb is what you're supposed to have. Well, with the amount of sauce I have and the amount of vegetables I have, I gotta make this for everyone. So, about the thickness of my thumb. There's also like tools that you can get for like pasta measuring. For like what you are, like man or woman, if you're kid or adult, which are useful, yeah, but I honestly don't recommend them because every person has different dietary needs according to their health, things they may have, and even budget. Budget is also a main part of it. Like, as you can tell, I struggle with weight, and I've always tried to lose weight. Believe it or not, I used to be really, really skinny. It's always been fluctuating with my life. First years of my life up until, like, maybe 3rd grade or something, or 2nd, I was really, really skinny. Like, you could feel my ribs. You could see them and feel them. Oh, shoot, that's not good. If you can see the smoke. Like, you could see my ribs. And it was terrible. And then I got bullied really bad. I just always was picked on. And then, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Yes, I was always picked on. And then I gained some weight in like 2nd grade and 3rd grade, and I was going through a lot of issues with that time with my mom and abusive men in the household, which is no longer an issue, and we moved away, and then my grandfather, which was like the only father figure I had, passed like couple months after we moved away. And he was like the closest thing I had to a dad to me. And it sucked. So this is how you do the pasta. You just sit, let it spread, get what you need. You get pasta spoon of your desire. You just push it in. Because unless it is a very, very fragile and very, very specific, thick and fragile type of pasta, this will work. I'm fucking doing it wrong. I shouldn't talk this much. As you can tell, that's an issue with me. I talk. I will get a plate. So, after my grandfather died, I gained a lot of weight. A lot. I was like 9 and I weighed 170 pounds. Which, I was like 9, 10 weighing 170 pounds. No 9 or 10-year-old should ever weigh that. I also basically had no friends then. And one friend that I did have around that time, we had to leave the place that I was living at, which was near him, and I had no way of contacting him ever again, which really, really sucked. And then, after that, we moved to Tennessee. The guy said, you know, he would take good care of us. We went there and he was like, hey, you guys need to lose some weight. Excuse me, with the voice crack. And we were like, sure, you know, yeah, we do need to lose some weight. So we went on a keto diet. See all this pasta? Throw it in the goddamn trash. See this? Onions and jalapenos, basically the only thing I would eat. Let's see what's in this. Okay, we could have this. Basically, we were on a very strict keto diet. No carbs whatsoever. And if you know anything about keto, you know it was originally invented as a diet for epileptics, as studies found that certain diets high in sugars could increase the chances of having epileptic seizures. So the keto diet was invented for people who would have epilepsy. Conveniently, very conveniently, from a health stance, if you're a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, keto is a really good option, or a low-carb diet, because when you get to my size, right, I'm getting better on my sugars. And I, believe it or not, I'm really good on my cholesterol. It's just I need to work on my fats a bit. Sugars is what really fucks you up. Yeah, fat is bad. You should not, in my opinion, this is what my family has gone through. Focus on fat last. Because if you're gonna go through ketosis, it's gonna burn that fat. You cut out those carbs, because carbs are temporary energy that is meant to be used then. Fat is meant for later usage, or when you're starved of nutrition like carbs. So basically, if you were very, very, if you were either on the heavier side, more so if you were heading towards diabetes or pre-diabetes, it basically doing a keto diet would lower your basically completely get rid of all sugars and carbohydrates that you would be adding into your diet that could, raise your insulin and increase insulin resistance, which is very terrible. And then I was on that for a long time. Got to 11 years old. I was there from 10 years old to 11, and I went from 170 to not 9, I was not 900 pounds. I mean 98 pounds, maybe even less than that. Then I moved back down to Florida. I gained weight back. I had a really hard time in middle school, which put a lot of weight on me because I was basically in the middle of fuck nowhere, Tennessee. Basically had no kids whatsoever, and I would get grounded for months on time by the guy that we were living with. So I basically had like no social contact whatsoever. I wasn't allowed to use the internet. And came back. I was weird. Nobody liked me. I tried my best. And we just got out of a very abusive place, and it was just the hardest thing ever for me. And I had rediscovered video games. Like, I've always played video games all my life. I love video games. First console was the Wii. Second console was the Wii U. And then third console was a PS3. I still have my PS3. Fourth console is kind of shared with my stepdad that I'm currently living with. And then I'm playing some more PC games. I bought a whole bunch of games from Valve on Steam that were on sale because of the Steam Summer Sale. Really, really good deals. You can get the entire Steam collection for like $15 to $30, depending on where you're at. A friend was Aussie, and it showed it for like $21.85 per gram. So, whatever. I gained weight. Oh, the water's starting to boil. I gained weight. I gained a lot of it back. I'm actually the heaviest I've ever been now. It's really a struggle. So, like, looking at my charts and stuff, I've kind of been on a yo-yo. So, at first, all my shit was really, really low. Like, my insulin was lower than it should have been. Well, I'm trying to remember this. Okay. When I first saw the doctor again, my insulin and cholesterol was really high. Like, bad cholesterol was really high. I was having a lot of fats in my diet. This was when, I just recently moved into a new place, and for this place, we were living in a place with a whole bunch of other people, so we basically had no room to cook, so we just order food. So that was not helpful to our diet whatsoever. And